When they start talking, when the people who I fight, when they start talking, that's when y'all get dumb. I'm gonna beat his ass.
He can't do shit.
For real. I better be quiet.
You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, you got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like,
Three matches that you fought?
0.
What do you have to do to create enough separation where this don't happen again?
Whew, it's a good question. It's going to be based on my training camp. I have to push myself a little harder if that didn't get me the win. And I have room. I definitely have room.
Tensions reached a boiling point as Gervonta Tank Davis stormed into the press conference, delivering a raw and heated warning to Lamont Roach. With cameras flashing and the crowd hanging on every word, Davis roared, "I'm ending Lamont, right here, right now." The energy in the room was electric. As the two fighters locked eyes, it was clear this wasn't just hype. This was personal. What followed was a fiery verbal exchange that shook the boxing world, setting the stage for a rematch driven by pride, unfinished business, and pure animosity.
What's good, guys? Red Corner Boxing here. So the Ring magazine has today confirmed that Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. 2 will take place on August 16th in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a great fight. We need to see it again. Who wins it and how, lads? Let us know here on Red Corner Boxing.
Promoter Gary Jonas shed some light on the negotiations for the rematch. While he didn't give too many details, Jonas did say that the second bout between Davis and Roach Jr. is all but finalized. Let's hear what he got to say right now.
Important question on everyone's mind. How close is the rematch? How big will it be? How close is it to getting done?
Very close. It's in my mind, it's a done deal, but there are formalities, but it's a done deal and it's not far off.
Originally set for June 21st, 2025 at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, the highly anticipated Davis versus Roach rematch was postponed. A key reason was Davis's request for more time to prepare, feeling he needed additional training to enter the ring at peak condition. Adding to the delay were financial difficulties faced by premier boxing champions. The event's promoter, the bout has now been rescheduled for August 16, 2025, still in Las Vegas, and the anticipation has only grown, especially after the controversial result of their first encounter.
How you think one coming up with
I
Tank
hope he don't fight Lamont, actually. Like, I hope he don't get in the ring with him again. Because at the end of the day, if he lose, it's just going to look bad on the fight with me, so it's going to look like somebody else already did it. I don't know.
You want Tank to knock you out, yo. I want to fight Tank, and that's nice, but why do you want Tank to knock you out so bad? Like,
Look, that sound good. That sound real good, but she's too little.
Too little.
I promise you he's too little.
Lamont is signed and ready to go for the rematch, correct?
Yeah, we signed still in the left. Y'all, Tank plays so many head games, it's not even fun. Let me tell you something, bro. Lamont Roach has never been this big of a fighter before. Everyone knows Lamont Roach now. So he could be reaping the benefits of just enjoying his status of having that draw with Tank, while Tank is the one with the eye of the tiger. Tank is probably in the gym training his ass off and then sign the contract like, all right, we got to fight when? June. Oh, shit. Let's hurry up and dash your ass. Sugar Ray Leonard did that to Roberto Duran. Duran was told that he had a fight in a couple weeks, and he was like, dude, I'm 190 pounds in Panama, which is why Roberto Duran was out of shape in the No Mas fight and was like, no mas. So Tank could be over there working, sign the contract in 3 weeks, and all of a sudden Lamont Roach got to put a training camp together.
Their first clash on March 1st, 2025 at the Barclays Center ended in a majority draw that divided fans and analysts alike. One judge scored at 115 to 113 for Davis, while the other had it even at 114 to 114. The most debated moment came in the 9th round, when Davis dropped to a knee after a jab from Roach, a move the referee did not count as a knockdown, sparking outrage and debate among boxing purists.
For me, Tank Davis is fighting a minus 1600 as your main event odds is crazy to me, dude. That's crazy. That underdog lived up to the hype. He ended up, overperforming. Lamont Roach, credit to him, all this other stuff. And it took some politics to keep Davis as champion. You ever see guys getting to referee their own fight? Dude, anybody else takes that knee, you're getting counted, bro. The referee, actually, his instinct, if you watch that, the referee's instinct was to count. If you notice, Steve Willis started counting, and then he looked at the timekeeper outside the ring, wasn't counting, and he stopped counting. So you get to call your own timeout. You know, earlier in the fight, if you saw that shoulder barge that Tank did to Roach in the clinch, he didn't get a warning, but Roach's reaction got the warning. This is the politics we're dealing with. You keep doing this, you're looking at short-term money and long-term destruction of a sport.
Davis later pointed to multiple distractions during the fight, including eye irritation caused by hair products and the absence of ring girls, which he claimed broke his mental rhythm. Still, he didn't shy away from accountability, admitting, "I could have done more. That's on me."
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but you know, it's not my business.
Critics, however, weren't buying the excuses. Many argue Davis deliberately took a knee in the 9th round to slow Roach's momentum and gain a few precious seconds to recover. They view it as a veteran move, one designed to interrupt Roach's flow and shift the fight's pace back in Tank's favor.
I think that knee that Tank took was because Lamont Roach was in a rhythm and Gervonta Davis tried to throw this man off a rhythm. Do I believe the Murray's sport waves, the soul glow was in his eye? Absolutely not. I believe that man Tank got nerve-eye and said, hold on, this man Lamont Roach is cooking. I need to take me a quick timeout and a quick break. It's nasty. It's horrible. It's disgusting. It's bad enough how hard and difficult it is to beat this man. Most fighters is weight trained. Most fighters has clauses on them. So when somebody who's coming up is able to compete with Gervonta Tank Davis, you handicap the man with trash rulings.
Offering more detail, Davis explained that a hair treatment applied to days before the fight caused grease to mix with his sweat, leading to severe eye irritation. He voiced his frustration at the crowd's boos, insisting that his action was not a stunt, but a legitimate response to unexpected discomfort, not an attempt to manipulate the bout's momentum.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, you know. But I didn't really know that you can, like, get disqualified for all that. Or, like, when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
The explanation sparked mixed reactions. Some fans and experts questioned whether the 9th round knee should have been ruled a knockdown. As the controversy snowballed, the New York State Athletic Commission launched an official review. Technical issues had delayed their initial evaluation, but the central question remains, should that moment have counted in Roach's favor, possibly changing the entire outcome?
Even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown. I thought I should have won a competitive fight. I think I did what I needed to do necessary to bank the rounds. I'm just a little frustrated with the scorecards. I thought I should have won.
Following the contentious draw, Roach's camp filed a formal appeal with the Athletic Commission, arguing that referee Steve Willis began a count, but then halted it prematurely at 3, allowing Davis to return to his corner. There, his trainer wiped his eyes, a move that goes against boxing regulations. Davis maintains that the grease from his hair was the root cause of the incident.
It ain't no timeouts in boxing. Why are you taking? You know that. You should know that. So that's the thing where I'm like confused, because that's supposed to be a knockdown. That's a 10-8 round. If that's a 10-8 round, I win the fight. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that draw turned into a 115-114 my way.
Gone in, okay, it's round 10, right? You see that you down on the scorecard.
George Kambosos Jr. didn't mince words when critiquing Davis after the fight. He praised Roach's impressive performance, highlighting his technical skill and heart in the ring. Kambosos questioned whether Davis still has what it takes to beat elite-level fighters. The incident in the 9th round, Davis taking a knee without an official knockdown ruling, only fueled his doubts, with many in the boxing community echoing the sentiment that Roach deserved the win.
Make it that fight on the weekend, what'd you make of the controversy in that one?
Look, I had just finished my recovery session, so I was pretty docile and relaxed, and then
the fight, especially at the start of it, wasn't too thrilling and too action-packed. So I was starting to doze off a little bit, but I woke up a little bit more when obviously Lamont started giving him some work, and he looked good, man. I got to give respect to Lamont Roach. He proved a lot of guys wrong. I think he shocked Tank a lot with what he was able to bring. And again, we saw the controversy with the knee. To me, that's a knockdown. You can't just take a knee and decide to, go to your corner and get your face wiped. So, if that's a 10-8 round, Lamont wins the fight. So it's unfortunate, but that's the fight game. Hopefully they'll do it again and he gets paid, what he's worth.
Have you ever seen anything like that in boxing before? A guy sort of just voluntarily.
We've seen Floyd take a knee and be put on the count. We've seen Miguel Cotto.
Jake Paul also entered the conversation, confirming that if Davis beats Roach in the rematch, talks will resume for a potential exhibition bout between the two. Despite a 60-pound weight difference, Paul fights at 195 pounds and Davis at 135. The fight would be a 10-round exhibition. Talks were nearly finalized before Davis's draw with Roach paused negotiations. With Davis now training under Kenny Ellis, a veteran coach known for discipline and precision, he's leaving nothing to chance under Ellis's strict program. Tank is honing his skills and building relentless endurance. The Davis fans will see next might be his sharpest version yet.
Real, or what was to it with you and Tank actually being the thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
Reuniting with longtime mentor Coach Calvin Ford has added a different kind of fuel to Davis's camp. Their partnership runs deep, forged through years of struggle and triumph. Every major milestone in Davis's career has had Coach Calvin in the corner, molding raw power into technical brilliance with both Ellis and Ford in his corner. Davis's preparation looks more complete than ever.
Who's doing the interview circuit, right? Kind of being a little bit out of character leading into the rematch. Do you think, and this is what Mill City asked, do you think that is something you guys are taking in consideration in preparation for the fight? And what Kenny Ellis said was, look, man, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We know what Lamont Roach brings to the table, and he says that Lamont Roach is we're not believing that he's out there drinking or blowing up a bunch of weight and all of that. He says what most people say, hey, we're going to prepare for the best version of Lamont Roach that is going to, that'll come for us. But the way that he saw the fight coming out was he said he sees it like the fight before, a lot of really crisp shots landing. And the fight is going to be similar, but hey, the fight at the same time is going to be very different. Now, I just happen to have a very good friend named Phoenix the Assassin who breaks down fights for me. He's a trainer. Got a world-class eye for fights. And what he speculated should be the difference between the first fight and the second fight for Gervonta is that Gervonta is going to need to spend a lot more time fighting on the outside and scoring points for a longer period of time on the outside, and then making sure that, and basically forcing Lamont Roach to try to initiate something with slower hands, score his points, and get out. And he said the reason that he believes that Lamont Roach would be able to do that.
Veteran boxing voice Jim Lampley weighed in, doubting Roach's chances in a rematch. He praised Davis's footwork, southpaw advantage, and vicious power, comparing Tank's knockout potential to a young Mike Tyson, while giving Roach credit for his boxing skills. Lampley predicted he'd struggle against Davis's all-around arsenal.
All right, Sean Zattel here with the legendary Jim Lampley, PPV.com, and called a controversial draw tonight. The crowd inside Barclays, they did not like it. What did you think of the verdict, Jim? Was it the right call?
An upset draw is always a mixed bag for fans, for people in the sport, et cetera, et cetera. I thought it was, in essence, the right decision. The only question about whether the upset draw is justified is whether Steve Willis erred in not deducting a point in a late round when Tank Davis appeared to touch the canvas with his hand. And, that is going to stay in the woodwork and haunt the fight in the breach a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's a setback in Tank's career and for his reputation. I think most observers expected him to knock Roach out, particularly because Roach was moving up from 130 to 135. Sometimes when a fighter moves up in weight, he gets stronger, and it looked as though maybe Roach did get stronger and had a greater ability to resist Tank's power than other opponents have had, because Tank did tag him with a lot of clean shots.
Lamont Roach Jr.'s advisor, Roberto Diaz, acknowledged Davis's danger, but expressed firm belief in Roach's growth. He pointed to Roach's amateur pedigree and the improvements made since their last meeting, noting that this familiarity with Tank could be crucial. Diaz sees the rematch as a chance for Roach to prove how much he's evolved.
James, man, for that untouchable, true school sports. Let's go, baby. Wow.
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. All right, Brandon Taylor here, True School Sports. I'm with Roberto Diaz. Roberto, good to see you as always.
Likewise, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, for sure. You're part of Lamont Roach's camp. Well, what's your official role with Lamont Roach?
I'm an advisor for him.
Okay, so you guide him on how to make certain decisions?
Correct.
Okay.
We've been together for many years since his pro debut back in the days at Golden Boy, and after we both parted ways, we hooked up.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting because now that you guys are not with Golden Boy, you're still together. So
absolutely,
you guys must have had a good relationship when you were at Golden Boy.
Always had a good relationship with him and his father, and obviously I'm honored and just honored to be a part of him. And when I got the call to continue working with him, it was a no-brainer for me.
Okay. A lot of the boxing media and the boxing fans are overlooking Lamont Roach, and they're angry that Tank isn't getting fights against Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, these kind of guys. But what can you, from someone that's been with him from the beginning, what can you say about the talent level of Lamont Roach?
I don't blame the fans, but it's a little bit of the unknown for them. It's a little bit of they don't know who he is. On Saturday night, they're going to know who he is. They're going to respect him, and they're going to become fans. Mm-hmm. One thing about Lamont is he fought all the styles. The kid has the talent. The kid has the want, but he's never had the opportunity to be on this type of stage. Mm-hmm. Now it is. Now it's on him. He's put in the work. The talent's there. The hunger's there. He knows what a win means. And here's where it's important. The fans are okay not to know, because until they are introduced, like they know who Shakur is, they know who these other guys is. They'll know on Saturday. But most importantly, Tank knows what he's facing because he brought in two of the best trainers in boxing. Not one, but two, because he knows what he has in front of him.
Kenny Ellis, now a key figure in Davis's camp, defended Roach as a worthy opponent. He reminded fans that Roach is a 7-time national champion with deep experience. Though critics may underestimate him, Ellis believes both fighters have matured since their amateur days, and this rematch will highlight their evolution and adaptability inside the ring.
Do you feel like that fight with Tank, the rematch with Roach, is bigger than perhaps Shakur Stevenson fight now?
Yeah, for sure.
Tell me why.
Yeah,
tell me.
He got in the ring with Tank with no hesitation.
Okay.
For the hell of a fight. Everybody want to see it again, and Shakur's last 3 fights, they criticized him, because of his style of fight. No offense to him, but this is the reality. People criticize because of the way he fight, and they don't want to see that. They rather see Roach again,